What I'm trying to say in the final analysis, once we take control of ourselves, we have to stop being imitators and be innovators. And realize we've got a continent 12 million square miles. Wherever our bodies are on the face of this earth, our cultural and political heartbeat is in Africa. Whether you ever go to Africa or not, that is your home, that is the home of your spirit, and that is the heart and meaning and definition of your commitment. And none of us, any place in the world, will be free until that continent is free.
The Masi Warrior Clan was created because myself and others like Brother Nahisi saw a need for a young African group to analyze information concerning the African phenomena with no bias, with rigor, and with scholarship. We created the Masi Warrior Clan for the purpose of being an expert research team, of being a team that produced products, a team that was capable of producing products for African people globally to dispel myths, rumors, and provide them with accurate scholarship.
tried to line it up. And he was like, I don't debate y'all. Y'all too disrespectful. Aboriginal Power won't even debate Sean because he's too disrespectful.
Yeah, he is though. No, he really is though. I can't really like you, bro. You cool, not a coincidence. I actually chop it up with but niggas that come off too heated and disrespectful, like I said, I'll debate you, bro. But we gotta get in the ring first. If you want to be disrespectful like that, at least disrespect me in the ring, bro. Let's start now, bro. Can you disrespect me in a cage, bro? Like, I'd rather just do that. Then we go straight from the cage. I mean, put your ice on the way to the motherfucking computer, and we'll debate directly after that, nigga. Shit.
That's why I don't even be. Fucking with the nigga and shit. You feel me? Like, it's like, wait, bro, talk like that, man. We gotta get face to face with you to talk to you like that, my nigga.
Yeah, Peanut. You feel me? Go ahead, I got my brother already. Peanut, what's the word, my brother?
Yeah, I appreciate you, man, but lucky, let me say this, man. First of all, I'm an older brother. I'm young in spirit because I stay in shape. But I'm older. I deserve respect. Don't lie on me. You're not going to get nowhere lying because that's what's going to make you fall face first. Second of all, I'm well known in the Pan-African community. I'm not nobody new. You're younger than me. You don't know this. I didn't put in work and expose Rob Bourne, Sue Tech, any of them people over there. They know it deep down inside. And I'm gonna be long-winded. I'm a Moorish American. I already had back and forth with them dudes. They erased videos. I'm not running from anybody. Don't ever say that stupid shit again. Third, and last but not least, I'm not losing no debate to no Pan-African. So don't ever say that shit again, famo. And that's it. Appreciate y'all, man.
You heard that? If Sean P want to debate, tell him to debate the champ over here, right?
Tech want to know. So this like it's a pecking order. It's a pecking. So Sean want you, and Tech want him. You say PMF ain't on his
no problem. There's no problem, man. Let's set up a Tech debate, man. I don't like him anyway.
Okay, so I love that son, brother. I love that warrior mentality.
I love to tell Tech. There ain't nothing. My champ always in the chat. I'll pop in. We'll set a topic. We'll set a date. We'll make it pay-per-view. We'll chop it up behind the scenes. I get their contact. We make it work. So, you heard it right here. He ain't ducking no favors, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. He do this over here on y'all channel, but then when we get on other
hey, alright, I will block your ass, nigga, because I'm well known for disrupting them chats over there. Nigga, stop fucking lying, nigga. You a goofy, nigga. I would never let a lame ass nigga around me in my face, clown.
You gonna block me?
It ain't no time I ain't ever been on the Pan-African channel and made my impact. Stop lying. I'm a real man, bro. Stop lying, fam. Don't do PNF like that.
PNF, they trying to trigger you, brother.
Word the fuck up.
But listen, he did that to me, talking about, oh, word on the street, I'm ducking from John B. I've never even had but one conversation with this little disrespectful motherfucker.
Oh, okay, yeah, he a little hot. He like that.
So he like...
Y'all find an African in my fucking family,
He
but y'all
died
ain't
by
find
his
y'all.
own genealogy.
Shut the fuck up. That don't make sense, for one. Listen, y'all don't know what y'all did.
feel like you standing on business.
Y'all lied on me, because y'all don't even know if that's me. And if y'all can trace that shit back to it's me, it's only 2 people in YouTube that got my information.
Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of me. Half of this track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us honestly. You ain't a Cherokee, you ain't a Chickasaw, you ain't a Blackfoot, nigga get lost. You just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Caught an apple slipping with his genealogy. Now he's a con and I ain't talking about a singer. I'm coming for the top apple leader. He ain't a teacher, he's a preacher. He can't keep up, so we leave him. Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of me. Half of the track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us possibly. You ain't a Cherokee, you ain't a Chickasaw, you ain't a Blackfoot. Nigga get lost, you just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Caught an apple slipping off his genealogy. Now he's a con. OTK, TKO. Now he's a con. OTK, you died. TKO genealogy.
From Africa, but they will be able to tell you about Africa. They wouldn't be vaguely saying they from Africa, brother. Like when a European says I'm from Europe, he doesn't say I'm from Europe. He says I'm from Germany. I'm from a particular province. I still got people out there, right? You know, when people say hold on. When people say they from Asia, they tell you whereabouts from Asia they from. They tell you their province. They tell you they still got people out there. These people will confirm that they are indeed a part of their heritage. But you niggas was calling y'all African? Oh, mysteriously, you have no contact with the people you say you descend from. So I don't believe you. Bro.
Hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. The roots of a tree and not hate the tree.
You ain't no Indian, please try again. Everybody know you's an African. And Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root without hating the tree. Now take a look at you, you's a wannabe Cherokee. And I told you before, you need some therapy. And why you never show the genealogy? You owe your ancestors an apology. And you know they turning over inside of their graves just because you don't wanna come from a slave. So you gotta take this whipped in. I caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another. Let's go. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Yo, check this out, man. You wasn't already here, man. Dane Calloway lied to you, man. The research guy lied to you, man. Karimio lied to you, man. Your ancestors come from Africa, whether you like it or not. So no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will always be an African. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the evidence. You can't deny the genealogy. You can't deny the DNA. You can't deny it, man. Whether you like it or not, you are African. Caught an apple slipping. That's all we do. That's all we do. Let's go.
Got some dewy-eyed thing that you got a friend. I still ask you to look at that mirror. And if nothing's staring back at you is friendly, then you've got no friend.
Peace to everybody in the chat. It's your boy Sean P in the place to be, man. Make sure y'all like the show, share the show, tell a friend, Yeah, we're live. I'm gonna get straight to work. Straight to work. But before I do, with all due diligence, peace to Turtle Gang. What's good with you? What's going on, Juju? I see you over there, back in the Gambia with your husband. Hey, I see you on the motherland with the husband. EIE, what's good with you? Thurman, what's up? Keenan, what's going on? We got free DNA test for elbows. That's gotta be what up, Robert Lee? Pure Black. What's going on, Teddy? We got Barry in the building, Rob Rich. You know what I'm saying? I seen a Honey Clark sighting. You know what I'm saying? We got some Michigan fan in the chat, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? And then we got what up though? That's Willie Lump Lump. What up though is Willie Lump Lump. He on his troll page. I don't know who is Rod Hayes, bro. I don't know who Rod Hayes is. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I know Sutek has sent a screenshot of what's the dude name, man? Somebody named Engine on TikTok. I don't know who that is, but he had my name in his mouth on TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but he had something to say about me. I don't know why. Talking about, I just came from out of town. I don't know what you want, and I'm in my city every day. I'm everywhere. I don't have. So if you in Nashville and you talking about I ain't somewhere, you got your rabbit ass mind, I will pull up on you in a heartbeat. Free DNA test for elbows, the homie. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure, Pure. It sound like something like you. Yeah, we know who they go blue. We know who it is. Ask Professor Smiles, he's the Holyfield for sure. I don't know what you talking about, bro. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tripping. But that's I don't know who that Hayes cat is. Some people, you know damn well ain't no trolling 313 out there. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Juke joint. What's going on? It's your Pretendians Unite. So listen, man, I'm gonna get right into the show because I really want to get into this subject, and then I'm gonna expand. I'm gonna kind of bounce around. The reason for that, because I ain't, I've been out of sight, out of mind, but I'm really gonna get to it. I'm officially banned from every Abo channel. They don't want to fight with me no more. Robert Lee, they didn't kick you out. I want to start with this though. When y'all see Ling Ling in the streets, right? When y'all see him. Anyway, I'm talking about in any comment section or any video or any chat or anything like this. This Ling Ling. Peep this.
I do not want to hear that. Who is this? Who is this person? Tyrone.
What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, Tyrone? I think I talked to you before, right? I remember that last name.
Yeah. I got a weird message from one of your people that's in your film, like Deanna Bailey. Are you aware of her?
Who Deanna? Who?
Her.
First of all, I don't even talk to Dr. Ma'at. Me and Dr. Ma'at, or Deanna Bailey, that's who he's referring to, is Dr. Ma'at. I haven't spoken to her in a while, message her or anything like that. And I know for sure, because I'm very familiar with Dr. Ma'at. She is not reaching out to you and sending you no kind of message whatsoever. So for you to go call in on this dude's show, who already scamming and flim-flamming and bamming, to call in on Tariq's show and say what you finna say right here, is crazy. Crazy. Listen to this shit.
Billy, are you aware of her?
Deanna, who?
Her name's Dr. Ma'at. Like
Yeah.
He kicks it with a bunch of Pan-African grifters. Like she was mad talking.
She kicks it with a bunch of Pan-African grifters. Who the fuck is grifting off Pan-Africanism? You niggas are. See, you keep trying to shit on her name to this dude who got her in his series, and I don't give a fuck. That's not my battle to fight. I don't care. But when you start trying to tie her to everybody else, that's when you're not only disrespecting everybody else, but you're also disrespecting her, and you making yourself look stupid. Because you said you got a message from her, then you said she kicking it with Pan-African grifters. I don't even know what that is. Then you finna say some more bogus shit. And you trying to politely introduce your bullshit that you own to this pseudo-ass dude that you keep calling on his show and having a conversation with him for 2 minutes. You're lying on her. The only reason that I'm saying what I'm saying to you is because you're lying on her. She didn't message you. She ain't sent you shit. You're lying on her.
Like he kicks it with a bunch of Pan-African grifters. Like she was mad talking ish about you over on.
Why the fuck would Dr. Ma'at go on Sinetta channel and talk shit about him? She's on this motherfucker's Hidden Colors, the last 2 Hidden Colors. The one coming out and the last one saying some bullshit about Mansa Musa and Van Sertima, all of that craziness. Why would she talk shit about? Because that's not even in her line. She don't do that. She's just she don't talk shit about people. She might do some other weird, crazy stuff that some people say, you know, or don't agree with, or whatever the case may be, but she don't talk crazy about people. You're lying on her again. You're intentionally lying on this woman.
On Musty Warrior Clan's channel.
Hold up.
They have a whole on Musty.
Say the fucking name right. The Masi. But go ahead, let's go. Let's hear you lie on her again.
She was mad talking ish about you over on Musty Warrior Clan.
Pause. So when has Deanna Bailey, aka Dr. Ma'at, been on the Musty Warrior Clan? Find that show. Find the show where she been over here. You see how you lying? Somebody find the show with Dr. Ma'at on the Musty Warrior Clan. Find the show. Let's continue.
Channel, and they have a whole bunch of weird questions about this delineation thing in there. Mad hating about you going to Africa and embracing Africa. So I see that you guys are, you know, down for your African side, but a lot of these people antagonize the indigenous paradigm and come FBA with the indigenous paradigm. So have you looked?
It's on his website. He leaves an open door. The third star is one of the three stars are supposed to represent the indigenous black people in his FBA bullshit that he made up. One of the stars is supposed to represent the other. Two of them are pseudo. The first star, which is what we just mentioned, the black indigenous, and then the explorer, the black explorers that he said made it to the Americas before the Europeans did. Those two were pseudo. And then the last star was a representation of the Africans that were transported here from during the transatlantic slave trade to the Americas. So he told one truth and two lies on the stars. But you, Tyron Lingling, I want you to understand something. You're supposed to be an adult. Now, I realized that you're slow and you may receive a check and you live with your mom and sister. I get it. You ain't got no girlfriend. You got pet cats and the type of dogs. I think you got dogs too, but I think you got dogs that like little girls and women like. So you got real feminine energy around you and all over you. That's your aura, right? Autistic and all. You literally just called into this man's show. Lied on Dr. Ma'at. Said she was somewhere saying some shit she never said. Brings in the Maasai warrior clan. Knowing you know my motherfucking name because you finna say it. And you think that ain't not one motherfucking time out there I ain't ever tagged Tariq Nasheed. Every fucking time I say anything about FBA or some bullshit this Negro is teaching, his name is tagged. We don't bow down or we don't run from nobody. We're letting him know who's saying what, when we saying it, why we saying it, and where we're saying it at. Not only for you to see, but even the people subscribe to him. I wouldn't have never played this video had I never gotten a message from my cousin who said he was half asleep and the video was playing on YouTube and he was listening to, just so happened to be listening to it because it was Tariq. And he heard he said female. He said, cuz, what female did you piss off? I said, I ain't piss off no female. Not that I know of. I don't know why you would say that. Then he said, well, it kind of sound like a female. I said, you probably talking about this dude named Tyron who go by Ling Ling. And he said, because I said and then I sent him a voice message of what Tyron sounded like, and he bust out laughing and said, yeah, that's it right there. I went back and played it, and that's who it is right there. I said, Then he sent me the timestamp. Luckily, the video wasn't too long. He told me at the 10:20 mark, so I'm playing the video. But listen to this fool.
But a lot of these people antagonize the indigenous paradigm and come FBA with the indigenous paradigm. So have you looked into that? Because I have a screenshot of the message that he sent you.
Now you got a screenshot of the message that I sent him. When you begin this conversation, you told Tariq, right? You told Tariq that you got a message from Dr. Ma'at. My birthday is 10/20. couldn't get to the 10:20 mark.
Who is this
What's
person?
going on?
What's up, Tyra? I think I talked to you before, right? I remember that last name.
Yeah, I got a weird message from one of your people that's in your film, like Deanna Bailey. Are you aware of her?
You see how he introduced he came into the conversation introducing names? He said that he got a message from Deanna Bailey. Are you familiar with her? And then not even a minute later, he says he got a message from Sean. Listen, I'm gonna let it play.
Who Deanna?
Hold on, before I let it play. I know how Tariq get. This ain't even the show. This ain't even a part of the show. Ain't a part of the show. But I just had to, you know what I'm saying? I just had to get to this business. Man, Tariq, do not strike this.
Who?
Her name's Dr. Mayat. Like
Yeah.
He kicks it with a bunch of Pan-African grifters. Like she was mad talking ish about you over on Musty Warrior Clan's channel, and they have a whole bunch of weird questions about this delineation thing in there. Mad hating about you going to Africa and embracing Africa. So I see that you guys are, down for your African side, but a lot of these people antagonize the indigenous paradigm and come FBA with the indigenous paradigm. So have you looked into that? Because I have a screenshot of the message that he sent you.
The he sent me?
Yeah, it's one of her little stooges.
Okay, now I'm confused.
His name is it's Masi.
Listen. Look at his background. He cut his camera on, y'all. Look at his background. He didn't screenshot the post to Tariq Nasheed with his name tagged in it. With the post I did about a week or two ago. He's got that screenshotted and he's showing his face. He got a hood on. He got to make himself keep looking like an A-list. He can't show his face. Look at him. Let me make it bigger. Hold on. I wish I could see this real good. Hopefully y'all can see it real good. Look at him over there. He did say that he went to Tariq Nasheed to tell on me, though. He did say that in the comment. What up, Divine God? What's up, Melanated? What up, old dog? Let's listen to him.
Stooges.
Okay, now I'm confused.
His name is it's Masi Warrior Clan. Is I believe he rocks with like this guy named Sean Phillips and Ankh West that's over there on Sinetta TV.
You see how intentional he said my government. Oh, yo, you know exactly who the Masi is. It's my post. It's my post. Why is you trying to? He rocks with Sean Phillips and Unc that be on Sinetta TV. You confusing yourself. This how slow this retarded motherfucker is. What up, the objective perspective? Listen to this shit. Bro, I don't get no. Let me let it ride. Let me let it ride. I know y'all like let that shit ride. I'm finna let it ride.
What's up, Tyra? I think I talked to you before, right? I remember that last name.
Yeah, I got a weird message from one of your people that's in your film, like Deanna Bailey. Are you aware of her?
Who Deanna? Who?
Her name's Dr. Mayat. Like
Oh yeah.
he kicks it with a bunch of Pan-African grifters. Like she was mad talking ish about you over on Musty Warrior Clan's channel, and they have a whole bunch of weird questions about this delineation thing in there. Mad hating about you going to Africa and embracing Africa. So I see that you guys are, you know, down for your African side, but a lot of these people antagonize the indigenous paradigm and come FBA with the indigenous paradigm. So have you looked into that? Because I have a screenshot of the message that he sent you.
The he sent me?
Yeah, it's one of her little stooges.
Okay, okay. Now I'm confused. Yeah,
His name is it's Mossy Warrior Clan. Is I believe he rocks with like this guy named Sean Phillips and Ankh West that's over there on Sinetta TV. Like a lot of these people throw slick jabs at like Black Americans making this delineation move and have their own ideology. So it's kind of weird what these cats are doing, agent type stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of agent behavior, but I don't care because they can't do anything about. I mean, to be honest, I can't follow some of that agent behavior and some of these angry dudes, some of the Pan-African dudes who's mad. It's so many of them. I don't even follow them. You understand? Because it's pointless. Because the delineation is Thank you for the call, by the way. Delineation.
Boom. Roger one. That's what he went over there and said, right? And that whole little 2 minutes that he got with Tariq Nasheed. This is what he said. Now, like I said before, if you're listening to what he's saying to Tariq, you can hear the lies. He lied on Dr. Ma'at. He's lying on someone else who he thinks is saying or questioning what Tariq is saying or questioning. Then he name drops me, but he don't, and he say Unc name, but he don't say Unc's real name. But he say my real name, my first and last name. That's what got my cousin attention, because my cousin was just listening. But when he put Sean and Phillips in that, when he put them two together, the first thing because I don't hide my identity from nobody. I don't be on YouTube and I gotta hide like A1 and Denzel, Calvin Denzel Robertson. I'm like the Abos, they gotta hide their names. You know what I'm saying? Because they on the internet on YouTube faking a funk. So they gotta give you a whole nother lane to go in so you can't figure out who the fuck they is. I don't hide who I am. But the mere fact that he went on here, said my first and my last name, my cousin immediately like, hold up. You ain't talking about nobody else but my cousin. And he better be glad this wasn't no situation to where they was in a public forum and my cousin just so happened to be around and heard it, because he would have G-checked him for even saying my name. He would have got punched in the face just for saying my name. So he went over there to say all of this to say nothing. Tariq Nasheed is tagged every time we make a post or if we make a video, or usually it's me and only me. Ain't none of us running, ducking, hiding, nothing from no Tariq Nasheed. We give two fucks. So what I need you to do is be more mature and just keep it real. Go up there and ask your questions, or ask him why he hasn't addressed anything that the Mossy Warrior Clan has said about anything he is teaching to Black people. That should have been your question, and then you could have left it alone, and his answer would have been the answer that he provided to you, because he'd be ducking a lot of smoke under the impersonation that a lot of people are angry and attacking and just say certain stuff. And no. Ain't nobody angry. Ain't nobody attacking. We keeping it real. He won't have the conversation with the right people. He's screening everything. He's trying to protect his dollar. And as long as he can protect his dollar, he's going to do that. But that was Ling Ling, y'all, in his 2-minute conversation with Pseudo Nasheed. I'm gonna play it one more time for the people just coming up in here, right? One more time for the people coming up in here. This is Ling Ling, who calls himself telling on me.
What's up, Tyra? I think I talked to you before, right? I remember that last name.
Yeah, I got a weird message from one of your people that's in your film, like Deanna Bailey. Are you aware of her?
Deanna, who?
Her name's Dr. Mayat. Like,
He
kicks it with a bunch of Pan-African grifters. Like, she was mad talking ish about you over on Musty Warrior Clan's channel, and they have a whole bunch of weird questions about this delineation thing in there. Mad hating about you going to Africa and embracing Africa. So I see that you guys are, down for your African side, but a lot of these people antagonize the indigenous paradigm and come FBA.
You should be proud and represent your African side, sir. Your DNA test came back with African haplogroups. Over 80-something% West and Central African. You should also be representing your African side, but here you are telling people that you're a Yamasi Indian and that you're indigenous to this land and you're not African. You fucking cock-faced liar. Let him finish.
With the indigenous paradigm. So have you looked into that? Because I have a screenshot of the message that he sent you.
The he sent me?
Yeah, it's one of her little stooges.
Okay, now I'm confused.
His name is Mossy Warrior Clan. Is I believe he rocks with like this guy named Sean Phillips and Ankh West that's over there on Sinetta TV. Like a lot of these people throw slick jabs at like Black Americans making this delineation move and have their own ideology. So it's kind of weird what these cats are doing, agent type stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of agent behavior, but I don't care because they can't do anything about. I mean, to be honest, I can't follow some of that agent behavior and some of these angry dudes, some of the Pan-African dudes who's mad. It's so many of them. I don't even follow them. You understand? Because it's pointless. Because the delineation.
So that's what he had to say in response to what Ling Ling has said. Pure comedy. Let me stop this real quick. And I want to get into the show. I just want to begin the show on some bullshit by Ling Ling. The only thing that he did say, though, was he came in one of the comments on the community post, and he did say that he said those things to Tariq. He said he went and told on me. That's what he said. All right, so we're going to review the pseudo-isms of Aboriginal power. You may know him as Aboriginal Power. I know his fat ass as Calvin Denzel Roberts from Knoxville, Tennessee. He's a liar, right? Fat ass. So, I guess a day ago, he does a show called They Erase Giants from History's Guardians of the Atlantis. I'm not going to waste your time or ours as he goes on and shares a video about giants and aliens and pseudoisms, right? From one of them white people that he loved playing videos of and then claiming it's actual factual. Notice, and all the giants in the video are white people. There ain't no black people around. And then he talking about guardians of Atlantis. So this is the type of information that Calvin demonstrates. Then 21 hours ago, Calvin has this video up. You can't prove you're Indian or African. And it is literally some bullshit here. Because I don't know who comes on the panel and who says what. I don't even give a fuck. But he plays a video before then, and then he gets right into his bullshit. So again, this video he starts with is full of white people again, which ain't making no motherfucking sense to me why he's starting off with these videos with these white people. Then he got another video. They lied about when the buildings were built and who built the buildings. Now he's saying motherfuckers is lying about when buildings were built, as if they don't have construction plans and participation of certain shit. So again, another lie, right? Lucky played this earlier. He calls himself claiming to be checking some dudes I don't know nothing about. I don't know these dudes. I can't speak to these dudes, right? Then he got this other video. Like, he running out of content. Albert Perry and Ramon Moses' DNA predates Adam and Eve, the father and grandfather of humanity. The same nigga that says DNA is a hoax, you can't tell who's who of DNA, is saying that Albert Perry and Ramon Moses' DNA predates Adam and Eve. I thought you didn't believe in DNA. Do you even know what you're dealing with? So, I done ran up on his channel before. I done said a multitude of things before. And he has avoided any real scholastic conversation with me for quite some time. It's going on a few years now. So what I'm about to do, since he say he the realest podcast on YouTube, right? That's what he calling himself, the realest podcast on YouTube, right? So that's what you coming in here with. You the realest podcast on YouTube, and you said it was free smoke, and you said that you're not Indian or African American. You trying to start a conversation. You want to try to have somebody dialogue with you. You can't even prove that you Aboriginal. You ain't got no, hey, fat ass boy with the bad breathing. You ain't got no information that would say such. And I'm finna show y'all what I mean. I'm about to do a whole bunch of, and I'm gonna have to put these sources in the chat because I didn't put these in the description. But let me start right here.
Don't smoke them shit. All right, there we go. Back to regular scheduled programming. Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. If y'all can hear me loud and clear.
Look at this. Look at this. Is a nice AI header that he got right here. How JP Morgan and the U.S. government stole $53 million from, look, who did they steal it from? The FBA / Aboriginals. From what bank? The Negro Bank. Who the fuck was FBA? You're still in a people's history that you ain't even trying to associate it with it, and you're trying to blend the two together. What you saying? He on this same Rod? I don't even know who Rod Hayes is, bro. I'm sorry, I don't. I ain't even trying to learn either, because y'all, based on some of the shit y'all saying, I'm not trying to learn. I don't want to lose no more brain cells. So let's go.
There you go. Go ahead and drop those fire emojis, man. We're going to be breaking down the history behind to the history of what it was like before banks.
Nigga, you don't know nothing about no history of bank. You broke. So before I even just really get to letting your little video play, just for the little bit that I need your video to play. Sorry that I sound far away, but hold on one second, y'all. I'm looking for this book. I need to grab this book. Where my book at? Where my Black Banks books? All right, so hold on one second. I got this book, right? I got this book. It's called. Listen to this. And I even did a build on this. I did a whole presentation on this book a little bit. But it's written by Abram Harris. It's called The Negro as a Capitalist, a study of banking and business among American Negroes. Let me see if I'm gonna come up on the screen. The Negro as a Capitalist, a study of banking and business among American Negroes. Chapter 3, the Negro organizes his own bank. Let me run it down. The AME Church is in this book too, by the way. Yeah, so let me run it down. From slavery to business enterprise, the legacy of the Freedmen's Bank. So when he put the Negro Bank up there, he really finna talk about the Freedmen's Bank, or whoever finna talk about the Freedmen's Bank. Then it's got the Negro organizes his own bank. The first Negro Savings Bank, Negro banks at the close of the 19th century, progress of the Negro banking, the banks of Virginia, the banks of District of Columbia and Maryland, the banks of Pennsylvania, banks of Illinois, the future of Negro banking, the plight of the Negro middle class. That's what this book is about. Right? It's right here. Good book. This book also tell you how African you niggas is. That word Negro, yeah, he tell you he talking directly to the motherfuckers of African descent. Who the Negro is. Right here. When he started talking, listen, and he got the AME Church in here for a reason. We finna listen to this stupid ass nigga real quick. Let's listen to it.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that, man. We're going to talk about the history of what it was like before banks. We're going to get into how the government used Negroes' wealth and eventually stole $57 billion in 1878, which is equivalent to $2.2 billion today. So we're going to get into it. Y'all drop those fire emojis, hit the like button, thumb up the video, and support the channel.
The channel. Hit the like button.
If y'all ready, drop those fire emojis. Let's go ahead and rock out.
Hit the like button.
Requested a copy of a book, not a rare manuscript from Europe, not a scientific treatise, a rule book, a pricing guide used by carpenters in Philadelphia. He was refused. The Carpenters Company of Philadelphia, founded in 1724, told the former president that their rule book was for members only. It contained the formulas they used to price every stage of construction, the same formulas used to build Independence Hall, Christ Church, Carpenter's Hall itself. Thomas Jefferson, the man who designed his own home at Monticello, who understood architecture better than most professionals of his era, could not access this document. I spent weeks trying to understand why. What I found wasn't about carpentry. It was about an entire economic system that existed before 1863, a system that didn't require banks.
So we're going to talk about the economic system that was heavily used.
You're not going to talk about it. The person's video that you're playing is going to talk about it because you have nothing to talk about. This is someone else's shit that you're running on your shit show. And you're trying to make it something that it ain't. I don't know where you got this video from, bro. I don't know where you got the video from because I believe the original person of this shit ain't got no shit on there talking about FBA, Aboriginal, none of that shit on the video. And then even in this painting that you see right here in the background, it ain't number white people in it. Where's the Negroes at?
In America long before 1863. So we're going to talk about the financial processes and how financial stability and storage was being utilized amongst the everyday American before banks. So if y'all ready to get into it,
it was a barter system. What the fuck? It was a barter system. Yo broke ass, you can't talk to me about money. You don't come from money. Why I'm finna listen to you about some money when I know you broke and you don't come from money? You ain't got no investments. You have no property. You have no assets in your name. You die today, nigga. Your baby mama or one of them fat hoes, white girls you with, is gonna be fucking around trying to do fish fries and car washes to bury your bitch ass. You ain't got no insurance. You ain't got no money. Why is you trying to make it seem like you got something you ain't got? I'm not listening to you.
Let's go.
Thanks. A system they had make us forget. I came through furniture. My grandmother left me an oak chair, solid and heavy, made sometime in the 1840s. Nearly 2 centuries later, it still sits perfectly level, no wobble, no creak. I started trying to trace who made it, and instead of finding a name, I found a system. The craftsmen who built furniture like this chair didn't operate the way we assume workers have always operated. They weren't paid hourly wages. They weren't taking out loans to buy materials. They were part of something called the guild system, and once I understood how it worked, I understood why it had to be replaced. The carpenter...
Have you ever heard of the guild system?
Here you go again.
Are y'all familiar with the guild?
Look, here you go again. Look at all these white men on the screen. Here you go again. They got all these white men on the screen in the steps at a build in front of a building. Where are the Negroes? This is not a Negro bank. What are we doing, bro? What are you trying to push people to think?
System. Are y'all familiar with the guild system?
Why is you over there Googling, trying to make, you know what I mean? Just say what it is, what you found. He over there typing. You can hear him typing. He trying to pull it up.
I don't know what the hell going on my end. It is moving slow.
And once I understood how it worked, I understood why it had to be replaced. The Carpenters Company of Philadelphia is the oldest craft guild in North America that still operates today, 300 years and counting. Their members weren't carpenters in the way we use that word now. They were what the 18th century called master builders, combining the roles we now split between architects, engineers, and contractors. When Philadelphia needed Independence Hall, they built it. When the colonies needed a meeting place for the First Continental Congress, they offered Carpenters Hall, which they had constructed themselves starting in 1770. These buildings still stand, not as historical curiosities propped up by constant renovation, but as functional structures.
Right. The buildings that they're talking about still exist today.
Look at all these white men. Where are the Negroes? Where are the indigenous black people who's building these banks and trusts and all these things. Where are the Negroes? Every screen that this white dude is using for his presentation ain't showed me not now, nutter. Not now, nutter. Like I said that now, nutter. Not now, nutter. Black person. Can't find one. Can't find one.
You feel me? They still exist today, right now in Philadelphia. You see what I'm saying? We got to know that some of these old buildings that we're seeing in these local areas is remarkable. The building craftsmanship is uncanny. We're talking about buildings like Carpenter Hall.
Yo, no, bruh. This show's supposed to be about, listen, look what you titled the show. You're Not Indian or African is the title of the show. And now you're talking about banks, and then on the front side of it, you said something about Negro Bank, how motherfuckers took money from you. Why is you talking about buildings? And showing us white men. AI images, old school AI images of white men. And I say all of that to say, because if you're looking at this picture really well, ladies and gentlemen, you could tell that it is AI because the faces are smeared in certain places on the screen. So whoever did this is using AI. And it could be him. Or, somebody he got it from.
Shit like that. Historical photos. Buildings that are, like I said, still being utilized today.
I show the historical
right now in Philadelphia. That's a fact.
Their rule book, the one Jefferson couldn't access, contains something the official histories don't emphasize. It was a pricing system based on what they called unit pricing. Every stage of construction had a standardized fair price, not whatever the market would bear, whatever a client could be talked into paying. A fair price determined by experienced members called measurers who worked in teams of at least two, ensuring that no individual could inflate costs for personal gain. The system was designed to be fair to everyone involved, the craftsman and the client alike. Extended lines of credit between community members could be held open for months, even years. Work might be exchanged for food, for other services, for raw materials. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, in a 1928 report.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, we're going to break that thing down because when we start getting into these large constructions like Chicago and how they levied the cities, which is lifted up the streets roughly around 10 feet, that's absolutely impossible in the amount of time that they're saying that happened. Shout out to my brother Copper Jetty real quick. I want to give a shout out to Copper Jetty in the chat.
This nigga just avoiding every fucking thing. You just talked about the Negro Bank and how white people supposed to stole 53 million. Now you talking about buildings, bro. The context of the what the fuck you talking about is not adding up.
For sending in a Cash App donation. He said, let's go, Professor Boutman. We appreciate the encouragement, and we also appreciate the donation, bro. Shout out to Copper Jetty. We do appreciate that. Shout out to my brother, Copper Jetty family. Make sure y'all show him some love in the chat. We definitely appreciate that. Hey, don't let him be the only one that supports today's live stream. We are going to open up the live chat to see if anybody want to come on. We can chop it up, get into some of these conversations in history, and let's break this shit down. But we got more to get into the economic system in America before the banking system. So what was the economic process before the banks? Let's go.
Members could be held open for months, even years. Work might exchange for food, for other services, for raw materials. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, in a 1928 report on wage history, described colonial America this way. A system of barter existed throughout the first century of settlement, and the very scarce currency was little used in the payment of wages. Face-to-face arrangements helped bind the community together. Now, the obvious objection is that this was primitive, inefficient. Thousands of different local currencies, barter economies, guild monopolies. The official history 1963, the system had become chaotic. More than 7,000 different state banknotes circulating. A $5 bill from New York worth less the moment you crossed into New Jersey. Counterfeit currency everywhere. And they're right about the chaos. The Library of Congress documents upwards of 10,000 unique and legal banknotes in circulation, not counting counterfeits. But here's what I keep returning to. The buildings made under the old system still stand. The furniture still holds together. The communities bound by face-to-face arrangements produce structures we haven't been able to replicate. When did chaos become the only alternative to centralization? When did we stop asking if something else might have worked? February 25th, 1863. President Abraham Lincoln signs the...
We still ain't heard nothing about the Negro Bank and these motherfuckers stealing $53 million yet.
National Currency Act into law. It passes the Senate by a vote of 23 to 21, a margin of 2 votes. The Act creates the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency and establishes the first national banking system. We're taught this was about stability, about creating uniform currency to replace chaos. But the official purpose, stated plainly in the legislation and confirmed by the Federal Reserve's own historical archives, was to help finance the Civil War by increasing demand for federal government debt. National banks were required to buy treasury securities equal to 1/3 of their capital. They received banknotes in return worth 90% of the bond's value. To issue more money, banks had to buy more government bonds. The entire system was designed to create buyers for federal debt. A 2% tax on state banknotes in 1864 drove many out of circulation. By 1865, a 10% tax effectively destroyed state currencies entirely. Here is where the pattern begins to emerge. The Homestead Act was signed into law on May 20th, 1862, 9 months before the National Banking Act. It offered 160 acres of public land to any adult citizen for a small filing fee of $18. Free.
They still showing nothing but white people. We ain't got to the Negroes yet. Remember now, this dude supposed to be showing us how they stole the money from the black people. He ain't showed us shit. That's crazy work.
Land.
This how much they love the white man. They love the white man so much so that they'll tell you that they Aboriginal and Indigenous to the Americas, but then show you nothing but slides full of white people.
Democratic promise. Except historians estimate that homesteading actually costs between $1,000 and $2,500 when you factor in tools, seed, livestock, and materials for building. As the National Archives states plainly, comparatively few laborers and farmers could afford to build a farm or acquire the necessary tools, seed, and livestock. Most of the land went to speculators, cattlemen, miners, lumbermen, and railroads. Only 40% of claims were ever successfully completed. The Homestead Act gave Americans free land they couldn't afford to develop. The National Banking Act, 9 months later, created the banking system that would lend them the money. Not coincidence, pattern. What rose in place of the guild system tells us something uncomfortable: the company town. Lowell, Massachusetts, founded in 1822, was the prototype. By the 1880s, approximately 2,000 company towns existed across America. Workers were paid not in currency, but in scrip, a substitute that could only be spent at company stores. The Social Welfare History Project documents what happened next. Without external competition, housing costs and groceries in company towns could become exorbitant, and workers built up large debts that they were required to pay off before leaving. 75% of all scrip used in America was issued by coal companies in Kentucky, Virginia, and West Virginia. Workers couldn't leave because they owed more than they earned. The Pullman strike of 1894 involved over 150,000 workers across 27 states.
One more time. The whole video is full of white people. You told us that you're going to show us how these motherfuckers stole money. This where you getting your bullshit from. The giant children they took from orphanages and sold to the circus.
Sponsors. only patterns.
I might have to do a whole breakdown. I literally might have to do a whole.
We looking for this.
Change the rules behind their backs. Take the money and then blame someone else for the loss.
You said that you was about to show us how J.P. Morgan and the U.S. government stole $53 million from FBA Aboriginals, and you showed us a bunch of white people and how they fucked the white people out of their money. Because you know what the problem is? It ain't got a motherfucking, this video ain't got a motherfucking thing to do with a Negro or the shit you making up in your mind. Until we get here. So you finna make us wait 30 minutes until you start showing an image of a black person, what a video dude starts showing an image of a black person.
Ulysses Grant and William Sherman, official looking, government backed, or so it appeared. The passbook handed to every depositor told them this was a benevolent institution. The bank's newspaper declared, "You should use this bank because it is conducted entirely by your best friends." For people with no other options, people who had been legally prohibited from owning property, freed slaves. By 1870, white trustees...
And then right after this, I'm going in.
Shut the fuck up, bro. Play the video. I had to skip all of this shit to get up to the 1870s.
On a lot of you pretendians, you guys who think you're Indians, this is Free Smoke Friday, Free Smoke Saturday, and a lot of you fake Africans. Niggas who think they African genetics and African descendants, y'all can't prove that shit. It's free smoke. So let's get it in. I'm gonna get through this video and we're gonna get it in. Let's get it in.
Had secretly rewritten its charter. By 1873, they had loaned the deposits to their own businesses. By 1874, they needed a fall guy, so they chose Frederick Douglass. He walked in as president and lasted barely 6 weeks. The Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company was...
All right, so there you go. That's all I wanted to get to. Frederick Douglass lasted 6 weeks at the bank. The bank that he's talking about was the Freedmen's Bank and Trust. We just heard the white boy say it. It was no Aboriginal FBA nothing. The Freedmen's Bank and Trust. Let's pause the video. Actually, we don't even need the motherfucking video no more. Let's go to Google. Let's pull up Freedmen's Bank and Trust. Just we doing some simple shit. Saying we ain't making it difficult. We doing some simple shit. Simple. We ain't gotta overexert. We ain't gotta go do a whole bunch of digging. Simple. Among the most underused bodies of federal records useful of African American genealogical research are the records of the Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company. This how you gonna know you African, since this was Free Smoke Day, dumb motherfucker. So, excuse my language. Look at, not spell my name correct, sucker. Don't make me pull up in Hermitage, man. Don't make me pull up the Hermitage, man. You ain't want to come to the library, bro, and battle your boy in the library, book for book, document for document, source for source, Lex. You ain't want to get active, Lex. You ain't want to get active, Lex. You didn't even want to get active, Lex. Over there, just shoo-shooing and hoo-hooing and boo-booing. I heard they kicking your ass on TikTok. Sutek came over there and said, man, Lex getting his ass towed out the frame on TikTok. Got somebody over there saying your name, Sean. I said, it gotta be Lex. Lex the only one say something funny. You know what I'm saying? Was it you, Lex? They saying they tearing you a new frame. You need to get your brain reorchestrated. I bet you won't meet me in the library where we can go get the primary documents. about everything that we need to get. I bet you. I know you ain't said nothing about me, Lex. I'm saying somebody was in the chat. He was talking about somebody in the chat. But it was the comment about me was on a video on a TikTok live and you was on the panel. But it was a dude named Engine in the comment section that had just said something about me. But anyway, let's get to this. So in a meeting in New York on the 27th of January in 1865, congressional minister and abolitionists met with more than 20 philanthropists and leading members of business community exploring the idea and established a savings and bank for the benefit of African American soldiers. The benefit of African American soldiers. Right? So this whole bank, and I don't even want to go too far that he's talking about, had nothing to do with no FBA, had nothing to do with no Aboriginals. This bank, the Freeman Savings and Trust Company, right, was put into play and established, right, for who? The benefit of African American soldiers. African with a strong emphasis on African. So there was no FBA, Aboriginal, anything. Now y'all know how he was trying to play the game. Now you know the bank. And the reason that I said what I said, where we wanted to even listen to the video, is because we needed to know which bank that he was referring to before we assumed anything. So, the book that I told y'all earlier about, right? The Negro as a Capitalist, a study of banking and business among American Negroes. On page 25 of the book, when you're dealing with chapter 2, it's called The Legacy of the Freedmen's Bank. Okay? It begins like this, and I'm going to just go over a few highlighted points. The classic interpretation of emancipation and Reconstruction views the events of the post-Civil War period primarily from the political standpoint. This interpretation fails to show the Reconstruction politics were expression of a profound economic change, the triumph in capitalistic finance and industry over agrarianism and the plantation economy. In this country, as in Western Europe, the triumph of capitalism necessarily carried with its ascendancy of new political ideas, political liberty, legal equality, and universal manhood suffrage. Thus, the demand of Republicans for equal citizenship for the Negro can be understood only in the terms of the broad economic changes and their social consequences. This ideal of equal citizenship dominated the thought of the radical Republicans led by Thaddeus Stevens, because Stevens and his followers were the exponents of liberal democratic traditions, and as such, looked upon equal citizenship as the means of integrating the Negro into American life. The ideal was not primarily political in the narrow sense of the word. Middle class in its conception, it carried into the right in the individual not only to vote and to hold office, but also to acquire property and to attain economic dependence within the framework of the existing business economy. So, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. They realized that it was only with the aid of the Negro vote that the planter aristocracy, so inimical to the northern business interests, could be liquidated and the economic legislation which they desired effect. As the legislation was passed, the conservatives gradually pulled away from the radicals, quietly accepting the disenfranchisement of the Negro in the New South, dominated by lawyers, bankers, and merchants. Henceforth, the conservatives viewed the Negro's attainment of equal citizenship as a gradual process based on education, business, and the accumulation of property. The division between the radical and conservative republicanism served to create two separate and antagonistic approaches of the problem of Negro citizenship, which finally culminated in the militant civil libertarian leadership of W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington program of conciliation, thrift, and industry. The problem of the Negro citizenship. I'm gonna have to really get into the problem of the Negro citizenship. That should be a conversation that I can have slides for. Ain't nothing about me, Cherokee. Ain't nothing about me, Cherokee. Ain't nothing about you, Cherokee. Your ass is African like a motherfucker. The first conceived by A.M. Sperry and Army Paymaster was to be sponsored by the federal government, which was to empower to take over the military banks and set up branches to serve the Negro soldiers still in service. The second plan was originated by John Albert, a congregational minister who had been attached to Sherman's army. Albert united his efforts with those of Sperry and finally succeeded in getting Congress to incorporate the Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company. The act of Congress creating the bank was signed by Lincoln on March 3rd, 1865, the same day on which he signed the act creating the Freedmen's Bureau. The organization of the company was effected May 16th. The first report of the bank was made on June 8th in 1865 and showed that $7,956.37 had been received from the Military Bank of Norfolk, Virginia, and $700 in ordinary deposits. On August 1st, the first branch, which later became the central office, was opened in Washington. 1 month after its opening, the Washington branch had a balance of $843.84 due depositors. Other branches were opened during the year at Louisville, Richmond, Nashville, Wilmington, Huntsville, Memphis, Mobile, and Vicksburg. So what I just showed and told y'all, these are the places and spaces where these banks were. So when this dude says that the government stole $53 million, I'm trying to figure out where he's getting this money, because in 1874, there was the total deposits was $57 million. But there was a balance due to debtors, depositors of $3.29 million. So where you get this 53 from? This is why I have the book, The Negro as a Capitalist, because what he just tried to talk about, and even the white dude who information that he's using, isn't the statistical data that is actually provided to us, because I don't know where he got 53 million from. Them 53 million this 57 million ain't got nothing to do with nobody named Aboriginal or FBA at all. Nowhere near close. The bank was set up and created and established for who? African Americans. Not no motherfucking FBAers. Who the fuck is they? Who the fuck is they? Who are they? Who are Aboriginals? Who are they? They ain't got nothing to do with it. So yeah, y'all can find this book. This book is easy to find. It's on Amazon. It wasn't that much money either. I still see Lex is being active in the chat, running around here talking about, hey Lex, guess what? My genealogy is done. Do you want me to pull up my ancestry.com and walk you down? I've already showed everybody bits and pieces of my genealogy, but now, you know, my tree is there. All my hints are there. I got like 200 people on my tree right now, and I'm still adding people on my tree. I'm going to shit on you niggas when I really want to pull out my tree and show y'all how y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Because even in my tree, when I go to just my great grandfather, no, let me not do that. Yes, my great great grandfather on my grandma's side, on my father's side, they established the first free African American community in Brentwood, Tennessee. You know what that is? Right off Old Hickory Boulevard. Yes, sir. Yeah, Lex, I'm talking to you because you in Nashville. So you should know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. It used to be a Shoney's. Behind the Shoney's was that land where they established that. They inherited the land from the slave master who was going against his own fucking children because they had pissed him off. And my family was able to establish that. They also have a cemetery that's up there where they are still buried to this day. And it is one of the first African cemeteries in that area. Then I'm going to take you near Dixon, Tennessee, Dixon County, right? South of Dixon County. My great great grandfather on my mother freaking mama side was a slave purchased by the Phillips family, sold to another family where he would be free by the age of 13. Then they kept him, worked him through and through until he did whatever it is he had to do. He died and moved on. And then the records after that, you said genealogy, Lex Vortex. You don't want no smoke. You ain't never did no genealogy, Lex. You ain't never did no genealogy, Lex. And then get what go with that? Get what go with that genealogy? The DNA. Damn. The damn DNA. Ain't that some shit, Lex? Cause get what I done did? I got 2 DNA tests. I made sure, right? When I was building my tree, I made and then get all my documents and put my family in order, and them hits start popping up. I made sure I said, let me take an Ancestry.com DNA test too. So when I'm showing these niggas my tree, and then I'm going in here and showing them these records, and then I'm showing them these census where it says Black, where it says African, where it says this, that, and you don't see no Indians on none of these census, you in trouble. You gonna see the white man show up in my records as a slave owner and as a father of one of my ancestors down the line. You gonna see it show. You ain't gonna see no mother freaking Indian anything. How the fuck is you claiming I'm Cherokee, bruh? Black people around Tennessee wasn't no Cherokee. Boy, you finna get a history lesson. Wait, listen. They still got my results. They ain't finished with my results on Ancestry, but I still got 23andMe. So all I'm doing is just building my tree, putting pictures. I'm gonna show y'all my family. I don't care. I got their face. I got pictures of all that on my tree. I got all that. I ain't had no game records, birth records, death records, census records. My grandmama, ooh, they got my grandmama down there in Kentucky, Frankfort, Kentucky, Negro. Her sister, Negro. Her mama, Negro. You see him? And I'm talking early 1900s, late 1890s type. Man, I'm coming with heat. I'm not playing with you boys. Real genealogical work, bro. Not none of that. I'm finna put somebody on the tree and then try to make them something. Nah, bro. I'm talking about my real relatives. Ain't nothing missing. Birthdays on there. Death days on there. What is you talking about, bro? You in the chat running around here saying all that Lex, you won't meet me in the library, bro. I bet you won't meet me in the library. Let me get back to this bill. Man, I ain't fucking with Lex. You know what? As a matter of fact, since we already know that AP was on some bullshit, we can stop. We know he talking about the Freedmen's Bank, and the Freedmen's Bank ain't doing nothing but talking about Africans. He lost that point. He lost that point. He was making up some shit, trying to get over on some pseudo shit, and he fucked it up. Yeah, we know why they built that. So look, I'm finna bring up something since Lex in the chat. Since Lex in the chat, let me do this. Do I want to go to the Negro? No, I don't want to do that. The Negro Convention? Nah, I don't do that. Let me leave WEV. Do I want to bring it? Do I want to bring up the Color Convention? Nah, that's too Negro-ish that's too African for Lex Vortex. So let's do this. Let me do this. Let me bring up this source. Let me put it in the chat too. Let me bring up this source. I'm gonna start right here, and I'm gonna put it in the chat. Yep, y'all should be able to see my screen. But first, let me put it in the chat. Let me put it in the chat. Sean, your info is surface at best. Dig deeper. I don't do surface level research, Lex. I don't do surface level research. I found a picture of my great-great-grandfather. Nobody else in my family had a photo of him. No one else had a photo of him. My great-great-granddaddy was in an ancestry book of some white people as one of their servants in a book. That ain't surface level, my nigga. That's going to go find your fucking relative. Digging back, asking questions, getting to what we need to get to. He ain't even from Tennessee. He was brought to Tennessee. See, these people ain't been in no Tennessee. They were brought and purchased and migrated to. See, it's so much to the story, bro. You don't even know, Lex. You just sit right there. Just sit right there and learn some, Lex. See, this ain't TikTok, my nigga. You can't cherry pick some shit right here. Yeah, you know I'm gonna go get them sources for you, right? You know I'm gonna have you on the screen, right? Let me teach you something. Our genetic makeup is the result of history. Historical events that influence the patterns of migration and mating among our ancestors are reflected in our DNA, in our genetic relationship with each other, and in our genetic risk for disease. We ain't listening to Lex right now. Lex learning. He might be typing in the chat, but Lex learning. Let me learn you some, Lex. Understanding the connection between history and DNA is especially important for African Americans because slavery and discrimination caused profound and relatively rapid demographic change. A new study now offers a very broad look at African American genetic history and shows how the DNA of present-day African Americans reflect their troubled history. Slavery and its aftermath had a direct impact on two critical demographic factors that are especially important in genetics: migration and sex. The transatlantic slave trade was the forced migration that carried nearly 400,000 Africans over to the colonies and later the United States directly. Once in North America, African slaves and their descendants mixed with whites of European ancestry, usually because enslaved black women were raped and exploited by white men. Ding, 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 ding.
and more recently what's known as the Great Migration dramatically reshaped African American demographics in the 20th century. Between 1915 and 1970, 6 million blacks left the South and settled in northern, Midwestern, and Western states in hope of finding opportunities for a better life. How this turbulent history shaped the genes of African Americans has been unclear, because until recently, most genetic studies have focused either on populations from different geographical regions around the world or on Americans with European ancestry. Fortunately, African Americans are now being included in these studies on a larger scale, and several long-term studies have collected genetic data on thousands of African Americans representing all areas of the country. In a recently published study, Lex, a team of researchers at McGill University in Montreal turned to this data to take a broad look at the genetic history of African Americans. Guess what they found, Lex? Guess what they found? African Americans with a higher fraction of European ancestry who often have lighter skin had better social opportunities and were thus in a better position to migrate to northern and western states. My fucking grandmother, her mother looked almost white. She could be confused as white. That's how light-skinned she was. And my grandmama and her sister on my mama's side. Because my great-grandmother's mother, light-skinned and all, was poked by the European. The European. We don't lie over here, Lex. Have a seat, Lex. Quit typing so much. Relax, Lex. Relax, Lex. You're asking too many questions, brother. The research is focused on nearly 4,000 African Americans who participated in two important studies. Ladies and gentlemen, here they go. For everybody that got something to fucking say, this is how you know the relevance that we have in showing up and how we prove who we are. Because remember, AP said we can't prove who we are. He said you niggas can't prove you African. Lex in the chat talking about you Cherokee. He gonna look at me and say I'm Cherokee. And this nigga look more, and he straight up look Nigerian, y'all. He done grew his hair and everything. He straight up Nigerian. Look at him. Now he begging in the middle of teaching. You need to learn something. Shh. Lex, listen. We don't do controversy over here, Lex. We do sources. And the last time I had a conversation with you, Lex, you didn't have no source. So unless you got some sources, we know comprehende. We're not listening to you, Lex. Look at them. Look, the chat don't even want to listen to you. They're like, nah, you ain't finna make my head hurt. Look at them. The researchers focused on nearly 4,000 African Americans who participated in two important studies, both sponsored by the National Institute of Health. The Health and the Retirement Study. That's one study. It consisted of older volunteers sampled from urban and rural areas across the U.S., while the Southern Community Cohort Study focuses on African Americans in the South, particularly areas that have a disproportionately high burden of disease. Together, these two studies are among the largest sources of genetic data on African Americans. Importantly, they represent a geographical broad sampling of African American populations, which is critical for outlining the patterns of genetic history. The researchers first looked at what fraction of African Americans' genetic ancestry could be traced back to Africa. Yeah, let's look at that. Let's see who we can trace back to Africa. Or are they in America? Let's find out. Not surprisingly, the data shows that for most African Americans, the majority of their DNA comes from African ancestors. The results also show that essentially all African Americans have some European ancestry as well. The genetic mix of African and European DNA, however, follows a striking geographical trend. African Americans living in the southern states have more African DNA, 83%, than those living in other areas of the country, 80%. Conversely, African Americans outside the South have a larger fraction of European DNA. Even within the South, this trend holds. Blacks in Florida and South Carolina have more African DNA than those living in Kentucky and Virginia. Whoopsie! One explanation for this geographical bias could be the interracial marriages have been less frequent in southern states, but this explanation appears to be wrong. The McGill researchers found that most of the European DNA among black today probably entered the African American gene pool long before the Civil War, when the vast majority of blacks in the South were slaves living in the South. Genetic patterns observed by the researchers suggest that for at least a century before the Civil War, there was ongoing admixture between blacks and whites. After slavery ended, this interracial mixing dropped off steeply. The implication of these findings won't be surprising to anyone. Widespread sexual exploitation of slaves before the Civil War strongly influenced the genetic makeup of essentially all African Americans alive today. But this poses a puzzle if African Americans can trace most of their European ancestry to an area when America's black population was overwhelmingly confined to the South. Why is it that African Americans now living outside the South have more European DNA? Lex, pay attention, because you got European DNA in your boy. Yeah, you're running around here looking like that crack. That cracker. Looking like that cracker, boy. Yeah, boy. What's wrong with your lips? Huh? What's wrong with your lips? You in that chat getting active. Fingers, boy, your fingers ain't tired yet. You be trying to argue with everybody, bro. I ain't even in the mood to argue with you today. On some Farilla Manila. What I'm talking about. Alright, so the researchers propose an interesting answer. They argue that the great migration of African Americans out of the South was genetically biased. African Americans within a higher fraction of the European ancestry who often have lighter skin and better social opportunities were thus in a better position to migrate to the northern and western states. Though it will take further evidence to show this definitively, the McGill researchers' results imply that even after the end of slavery, discrimination that varied with shades of skin color continued to influence the genetic history of African Americans. Do these genetic findings matter to anyone other than historians and genealogists? The answer is yes. Studies of genetic history like this one are important because they help explain why blacks and whites often have different genetic risk factors for the same diseases. African Americans are disproportionately affected by many common diseases, and while much of this is due to poverty and a limited access to good health care, genetics plays a role as well. If African Americans are to fully benefit from the modern health care, where diagnoses and treatments are increasingly tailored to a patient's DNA, it is critical that we understand the African Americans' genetic history and how it contributes to their health today. In other words, we need to understand not just cultural and economic legacies of slavery and discrimination, but the genetic legacy as well. Man, let me go to the next source, man. Let me stop right there, bro. Let me stop right there. That's showing you how slavery changed the DNA of black people in America. Come on, man. Let me give y'all another press release. Let me walk this boy down. You came right in time, lit, for the walk down. You came right in time for the walk down, boy. Source at the source at the source at the source. You see what Lucky said? Straight facts. Because we get, man, come on, man. Genetic study clarifies African and African American ancestry. What you mean, Sean? People who identify as African American may be as little as 1% West African or as much as 99%. Just one finding of a large-scale genome-wide study of African and African American ancestry released today. An international research team led by scientists from the University of Pennsylvania and Cornell University has collected and analyzed genotype data from 365 African Americans. Uh-oh. What y'all find? 203 people from 12 West African populations and 400 Europeans from 42 countries to provide a genome-wide perspective of African and African American ancestry. Uh-oh, what happened? What happened? The data revealed what? What the data revealed? Lex, is you listening? Lex, bruh, you listening? The data revealed genomic diversity among African and African American populations far more complex than originally thought and reflect deep historical, cultural, and linguistic impacts on gene flow among populations. The data also point to the ability of geneticists to reliably discern ancestry using such data. Scientists found, for example, that they could distinguish African and European ancestry at each region of the genome of self-identified African Americans. What happened? Sarah Tishkoff, a geneticist at Penn, and Carlos Bustamante, a computational biologist at Cornell, led the study to analyze 300,000 genetic markers from across the genome from West African and African American and European American populations to see whether they could reliably distinguish ancestry. The team found what? While some West African populations are nearly indistinguishable, there are clear and discernible genetic differences among some groups divided along linguistic and geographical lines. This newly acquired genetic data revealed a number of important advances, including the rich mosaic of African American ancestry among 365 African Americans in the study. Individuals had less than 1% West African ancestry, as much as 99%. There are significant implications from pharmacogenomic studies and assessment of disease risk. It appears that the range of genetic ancestry captured under the term African American is extremely diverse, suggesting that caution should be used in prescribing treatment based on differential guidelines for African Americans. You see how they do? They're using your DNA to understand your health risk, diseases, how to properly. Come on, man. What are we talking about, Lex? What are we talking about, Lex? A median proportion of European ancestry in African Americans of 18.5%, with large variations among individuals. Remember, they got white people involved in the studies. It ain't just about your ancestry. It's about your health history as well. That's why you see 23andMe talk about disease risk. That's why you see Ancestry.com talk about disease risk. These other companies talk about disease risk in these genetic testings, because they know who the fuck we are and where the fuck we come from, Lex. We ain't no Cherokee. So if you calling us Indians and saying we this, that, or the third, my brother, your genetic makeup is going to explain the risk factors that you have as it pertains to certain diseases and health-wise. Diabetes, hypertension, prostate cancer, and more can be mapped out using your DNA. Let me get to the next one. I'm going to keep them coming. Let me drop it in the chat. Accept all cookies. Golly, bro. Lex, stay in the chat, bro. Stay right there in the chat. Don't go nowhere. Just process this walk down. Can you see this? I want you to look at it real close. There's the title. The Great Migration in African American Genomic Diversity. There go the doctors involved in the study. Yeah, let's get to it. We present a comprehensive assessment of the genomic diversity in the African American population by studying 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 genotyped cohorts comprising of 3,726 African Americans from across the United States that provide a representative description of the population across all U.S. states and socioeconomic status. An estimated 82.1%, Lex. Can you see that? 82.1% of ancestors to African Americans lived where? In Africa, Lex. Where they lived at? Africa. Prior to what? The advent of the transatlantic travel. 16.7% in Europe. 1.2% in North America. With increased African ancestry in the southern United States compared to the northern and west. Combining demographic models of ancestry and those of relatedness suggest that the admixture occurred predominantly in the South prior to the fucking Civil War, and that ancestry bias migrations is responsible for regional differences in ancestry. We find that recent migrations also cause a strong increase in genetic relatedness among geographically distinct African Americans. Long-range relatedness among African Americans and between African Americans and European Americans thus track north and westbound migration routes followed during the Great Migration of the 20th century. By contrast, short-range relatedness patterns suggest comparable mobility of 15 to 16 kilometers per generation for African Americans and European Americans, as estimated using a novel analytical model of isolation by distance. The motherfuckers broke it down to isolation by distance. You don't know your family, Lex. Because ain't nobody in your family claiming to be no Aboriginal or Indigenous to no Americas, bro. You're capping at the highest level of captivity. You was a black man in America, living in Nashville, Tennessee right now. Living in Hermitage, Tennessee right now, and they don't have that education out there, nigga. You live around a corner from Andrew Jackson's slave farm. You in Hermitage, Old Hickory, Boulevard. You in that area. You over there where, and you see the slave breeding shit over there at Andrew Jackson's, bruh. Why is you in my check claiming we are a new ethnic group? Now you lying. You're lying because you know and I know niggas in Nashville stuck to niggas in Nashville. So how the fuck is you a new ethnic group? Let me pull up another source. Let me beat this point in your head, bro. Let me put the source in the chat. I hope the chat replay is crazy work with these, because every last thing that I'm talking about is in the chat, available and accessible to people who catching the replay, bro. And the whole time we just walking down legs. We ain't even, you know what I mean? We just walking them down. King me. Another source. Yes. Another source. I'm gonna keep them coming. Yeah, look at Lex. Look, this Lex right here, y'all, before he grew his dreads. This Lex right here, y'all. Do he look like Cherokee or a new ethnic group? Hell no, he don't look like no damn new ethnic group. So this talking about their migration. So I'm not gonna give you too much. I'm gonna give you a little bit because we just still sticking to their realness. The Great Migration was the relocation of 6 million Black Americans from the rural South to the northern Midwest and West. From about 1916, earlier we heard 1915 to 1970. Driving from their homes by unsatisfactory economic opportunities and harsh segregationist laws, many Black Americans headed north, where they took advantage of the need for industrial workers that arose during the First World War. During the Great Migration, Black people began to build a new place for themselves in public life, actively confronting racial prejudice, as well as economic, political, and social changes to create a Black urban culture that would exert enormous influence in the decades to come. So what caused the Great Migration? I don't think that I can show you this video. Hold on. Yes, I can. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Let me pause. Let me stop. Let me reshare. Let me reshare. All right, boom. Let me come back. Let me cover up the video. Let me cover up the video. Lion Lex in the chat. We got Lion Lex in the chat. You know, him and Lion Lex and Lex Vortex, we making them the same people right now. Lion Lex and Lex in the chat. You know what I mean? We're making them the same. All right, there we go. Let's play the video. Minute 38. Commercial.
These eyes make a statement.
Commercial first.
They take it all in.
26
These eyes I
seconds.
got from my mom, which I got from my mom.
26,
Which I got from my mom.
21,
They helped me bake this.
Nail this? These
15.
Because they're the only ones I've got.
And these eyes help those eyes see their best.
10.
With a quality eye exam and 2 pairs of glasses at one great price.
An eye exam plus
2 pairs of glasses for $95 at America's Best.
Action.
Hi, my name is Rahul Williams. I'm a professor of history, and here's what you need to know in order to sound smart about the Great Migration. The Great Migration occurred in the decades after the Civil War and witnessed the movement of hundreds of thousands of African Americans from out of the South to communities in the North and West. Historians generally talk about the Great Migration in 2 waves, one from 1910 to 1940, and one that lasts roughly from 1940 to 1970, when the Great Migration is said to have ended. Historians estimate that between 1910 and 1940, as many as 1.5 million African Americans migrated from the South to northern cities. The first wave of the Great Migration accompanied a flowering of Black intellectual and artistic expression that became known nationally as the Harlem or Black Renaissance. Several factors contributed to the Great Migration, including the lack of opportunity for African Americans to make a stable living in the South. Economic inequality in the form of unfair labor practices, such as sharecropping, tenant farming, and the crop lien system, compelled many African Americans to move in hopes of more equitable treatment in northern factories. The Great Migration was also an important precursor to the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. Finding little relief from racial discrimination in the North, African American civil rights leaders had to fight for full equality across the nation. In recent years, scholars have documented a reverse migration from northern cities back to the South.
All right. Hold on 1 second. All right, we got our mute back on. Let me.
Over a century.
I knew that was gonna happen. Let me stop. Let me come back to it. Bam. Yeah, Lex. We're gonna help you. We're gonna help you. If we got you up out of that Hebrew cult you was in, Lex, we're gonna get you up out of that Abo cult. I mean, I understand it's easy for you to slide on not want to be African because you was a Hebrew before, you know what I'm saying? And it was easy for you to shit on Africa because, you know, your Hebrewisms. You know what I'm saying? You like to run away from that truth, you know? But we're going to get you up out of there, Lex. You're gonna accept your African identity and ancestors one way or another. And we're just going to use this as a teaching tool. So after the Civil War Reconstruction era, racial inequality persisted across the South during the 1870s. Segregationist policies known as Jim Crow soon became the law of the land. How did a new ethnic group go through Jim Crow and segregation laws, Reconstruction, and the Civil War? Where is this new ethnic group at, Lex? Black people were still having sex with black people. What ethnic group you know that is a whole new group? You're not an admixture, but an amalgamation of different tribes in North America. You're an amalgamation of many West and Central Africans. And then you got some partial European introduced into your blood. You ain't got no Mexican in you. Nobody in Central and South America in you. You ain't got, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no indigenous ancestors. If you do, you got 0.1, 0.2%. I'm not giving you nothing because you ain't got no source. I'm not talking to nobody with no sources no more, Lex. I listened to a clip of you on somebody TikTok and you ain't had no motherfucking source. I can no longer converse with guys with no sources. Give me a source. Your grandmama is not a source. Look at you lying on your grandmama. My grandmother is Indian. That's a fact. That's a lie, Lex. That's a lie, Lex. You're in Hermitage, bro. Your grandmama is not no motherfucking Indian, Lex. Stop lying on your grandma, bro. He said y'all are real disrespectful. Lex, stop lying on your motherfucking grandmama, bro. We gonna protect your grandmama for who she is, the woman she is, and what she raised you to be. Don't lie on your grandmama. Stop lying, Lex. Now you said your grandmama. Now you saying your great grandma. Your great grandmama wasn't no motherfucking Cherokee or wasn't no Native or no Indian either. Don't lie on your great grandmama, Lex. Go get that DNA test and see how heartbroken you are when you find that white man. The whole time you thinking this motherfucking the Indian, it's the white man. So let me move forward now. We just went through with the Great Migration, right? We just went through the Great Migration. Now we finna come from the hip with another source, right? We setting the stage for Lex. Okay, we setting the stage for Lex. Now we're going to deal with the genetic loci associated with skin pigmentation in African Americans and their effects on vitamin D deficiency. Whoop, whoop. Damn, Lex. You finna wonder why your skin the way it is? Oh, yeah, we finna help you figure that out. You know what I'm saying? We just using science. We just dealing with science. Oh, let me put the source in the chat. Damn. Boy, that boy be sourcing up. That boy be sourcing up. We don't freestyle over here, Lex. You said that we were just rambling. No, sir. We flexing on them. A recent genome-wide association study. Notice how I keep referring to studies, Lex. In African descent populations identified novel loci associated with skin pigmentation. However, how genomic variations affect skin pigmentation and how these skin pigmentation genes variants affect serum 25-OH vitamin D variation has not been explored in African Americans. In order to further understand the genetic factors that affect human skin pigmentations and serum 25-OH D variations, the performed AGWAS for skin pigmentation with 395 AAs, African Americans, and a replication study of the 681 African Americans. Then we tested it and identified variances associated with the serum 25-OHD. I know I'm talking over your head. Concentrations in the subset of AAs, N equals 591. The skin pigmentation melanin index was measured using a narrowed band reflectometer. Multiple regression analysis was performed to identify variants associated with the MI melanin index and to assess their role in the serum 25-OHD variation, adjusting for the population stratification and relevant confining variables. A variant near the SL245A gene, which is for lighter skin, showed the strongest signal of association of the melanin index, P equals 4.0 times 10 to the negative 30th, in the pool set data sets. Variants in the SLC24A5, which is the white genes again, and then the blue-eyed gene. Together, the OCA2 is the blue-eyed gene. These are dealing with skin variations. This that blue-eyed right here. Together account for proportions of skin. Not blue-eyed. Damn, I'm tripping. But these are relevant in this discussion right here. I'm gonna come back to OCA 2. I think I'm right about OCA 2. Let me help you out real quick. Hold on, let me pause for station identification. Yeah, I was right. OCA 2 is the I gene. So I'm tripping. Yeah, it's a protein. Definitely dealing with that. So, Lex, we know you don't know nothing about that. How you get them colors in your eyes out there in Hermitage. I mean, you're in Donaldson. You gotta learn something, Lex. The effects, and then you keep saying somebody love the white man, but you're over there with white man agenda. The effects of these variants of the M index, the melanin index, is modified by sex. However, West African ancestry also accounts for a large proportion of the melanin index variance, 23%. Melanin index also varies among African Americans with higher West African ancestry and high genetic score, calculated from the top variants associated with the melanin index, suggesting that other unknown genomic factors related to West African Americans are likely contributing to skin pigmentation variation. Melanin index was not associated with the serum of 25-OHD concentrations, but the genetic score was significantly associated with vitamin D deficiency at the serum 25-OH level. Okay, the findings support the hypothesis suggesting that skin pigmentation evolved responding to increased demand of some continent's vitamin D synthesis in high latitude environments. Damn, Lex. You wonder why you wonder why I got that light skin and then you got your brown skin, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you over there trying to, you over there trying to deny that your peoples and all that. You gotta quit doing that, Lex. You gotta quit denying them people, bro. You know? So let me change the line because Lex mentioned this earlier, right? He went on this whole little spiel about your genealogy this, your genealogy that, yada 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 this, yada 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 that. So let me pull up another one. You know, I'm feeling like Khaled right now. Another one. Let me drop it in the chat. Another one. Let's get the Lex all the way to the real. Yeah. Lex be no, hey, listen, don't listen to Lex, bro. He tripping. He tripping, bro. I don't even see your question, Lex. One question: was Crispus Attucks African? Why you keep asking me about him, bro? Why do you keep asking me was he African, bro? What does the history books tell you about him? What does the history books tell you about him, bro? You keep asking me. You messing up my bill. You doing it on purpose because you know I'm effing you up. He was African and Native American, Lex. He had mixed ancestry. No one's denying that some people... Listen, Lex. You keep asking me. He is just like not a coincidence. He is just like Lucky. You keep asking for an answer to that, and he has both answers. He has indigenous and he have African ancestry. He's the same guy, bro. You keep asking us about a dude who is Afro-Indigenous, bro. African and indigenous. Stop asking us. I said he mixed. He not a coincidence. Can we move on? You ain't him. A new approach to genetic genealogy says, whoa, wait a minute. Lex, did you hear that word? A new approach to what? Genetic genealogy. Wow, Lex. See, I was walking you down the path of righteousness to get you to the proper place where they use genetics and genealogy to shed light on African American ancestry. So you need to get your genetic work done and your genealogical work done to get a full scope and understanding of who you are. This new approach to genetic ancestry developed by Stanford researchers yield insight into African American history by providing estimates of the number of African and European genealogical ancestors in typical family trees. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Lex. Uh-oh, Lex. Where you at? You got your popcorn? You ready? Look at you. Look at you over there, scared. So you can't call him African. No. He is Afro-Indigenous. Lex. Afro-Indigenous. Meaning he's got African and Indigenous ancestry. Who the fuck is saying that? Who was trying to call him? You can't call him Indigenous. You said you can't call him African. You can't call him Indigenous. What about that? Huh? Huh? You don't even know what admixture is, Lex. Anyway, family trees, photo albums, grandparents are often go-to sources of information for people curious to know who their relatives were. Genetic ancestry is also a useful tool. Genetic ancestry is also a useful tool. Genetic ancestry is also a useful tool. So when someone tells you that you ain't did your genealogy, you tell them genetic ancestry is also a useful tool. But these measurements typically provide data on percentages of different populations in a person's ancestry, not on a specific people. So now a new study led by researchers from Stanford and the University of Southern Cal introduces a new way to think about genetic ancestry, revealing information that approximates the number of people from a sourced population. Researchers apply this new approach to the genetic and genealogical history. Oh, you heard genetic history and you heard genealogical history of African Americans from the 1600s to the present day. The estimated number of African and European ancestors who appear in a randomly chosen African American person's genealogy. Oh, Lex, where you at? Where you at? You left? You done got out of here now? You done got out of here now. The experts are saying do your genealogy and your DNA. They're saying genetic ancestry. They're saying, no, do your genealogy and do your genetic ancestry as well. Authors provide context for the results by using the historical book written over several generations of family of Michelle Obama, the former First Lady of the United States, as an example. Jaslyn Mooney, this lady right here with the big old smile, who's a postdoctoral scholar in Stanford Humanities and Science, and now in Gilbert's a professor of quantitative and computational biology at USC, is the lead author. Noah Rosenberg, this dude right here, to the right of that, also with some of the same qualifications, ended up being, he's the senior advisor or the senior author on this particular project. The study is right here, ladies and gentlemen. You can click on it and get the whole study, summarizing the results published on July 6th in the Genetics, and is the cover story. Here, Mooney and Rosenberg discuss their approach on how it helps to fill a gap in your ancestry of African American people descended from Africans forcibly transported to the United States as enslaved captives during the transatlantic slave trade. What happened? This is a whole interview, Lex. Be aware of it. These people, these experts, are using genealogy and genetics, and they are filling in the blanks, Lex, where you run into roadblocks when you're actually doing your genealogy the right way. And there is a wrong way to do your genealogy. We found that out from them pseudo-Babbles. One, what's her name? Bethy and Mike TV, both of them lying and creating fake trees and putting Indians on the African ancestors she got, or when the European would show up. It's in the study. I left a link in the chat on purpose because when I kept arguing with people on how to do their genealogy and why DNA is important, I wanted to make sure that people knew that they needed to do both. They don't need to do one, they needed to do both. And then Lex, you just came in the chat using the right wordplay today, talking about a whole new ethnicity. How you creating ethnicities out the blue, bro? On the number of genealogical ancestors tracing to the source groups of an admixed population. Yeah. Don't freaking play with us, Lex. You about 85% African, bro. 85%. You ain't got nobody light skinned in your family, bro. You ain't light skinned. Your granny ain't light skinned. Your mama, mima, nanny, whatever you call her, she ain't light skinned. Y'all all browns to dark skins peoples, Lex. Y'all was slaves off that plantation over there at Andrew Jackson's, Lex. Tell everybody. Tell the truth. Tell them how long you been in Hermitage. Tell them how long your great-granny been in Hermitage. No capping. Tell them. Your peoples grew up on that plantation. Let them know that. Let them know that. Lex, tell them how long you been on, how you was raised on Andrew Jackson's plantation. Your peoples was. Come on, man. Tell that man. Come on now, Lex. This boy said, look what he said. Your cousin, if he your cousin, yeah, he definitely was your cousin because y'all both was Hebrew Israelites. And y'all both, yeah, but he beat on women. I don't know about you. I don't know if you was doing that too, but he beat on women. And he was messing with the white women. You mess with the white women too, Lex? Tell them how you grew up on Andrew Jackson plantation in the chat, Lex. Tell them how your peoples was a part of the slave breedings and shit. Come on, man, keep it a buck. Tell them. That's why you live in Hermitage today. Tell them. See, you talking about genealogy, you ain't did yours. You ain't even did DNA. So anyway, members of genetically admixed populations possess ancestry from multiple source groups. Studies of human genetic admixture frequently estimate ancestry components corresponding to fractions of individual genomes that trace the specific ancestral populations. However, the same numerical ancestry fraction can represent a wide array of admixture scenarios within an individual genealogy. Using a mechanistic model of admixture, we consider admixture genealogically. How many ancestors, the source population, does the admixture represent? We consider African Americans, from whom continent level estimates produce 75 to 85% value of African ancestry. On average, 15 to 25% European ancestry. Genetic studies together with key features of African American demographic history suggest ranges of parameters of a simple 3-epoch model. Considering parameter sets compatible with estimates of current ancestry levels, we infer that if all genealogical lines of a random African American born during the 60s are traced back until they reach members of a source population, the mean overall parameter sets the expected. I don't know why this thing showing a whole up. Go back. There we go. Expected number of genealogical lines terminating with African American individuals 314. Yeah, 314. And the mean of the expected number of terminating in Europeans is 51. Across discrete generations, the peak number of African genealogical ancestors occurs in birth cohorts from the early 1700s, and the probability exceeds 50% that at least one European ancestor was born more recently than 1835. Our genealogical perspective can contribute to further understanding the admixture processes that underlie admixed populations. For African Americans, the result provides insight both on how many of the ancestors of a typical African American might have been forcibly displaced in the transatlantic slave trade and on how many separate European admixture events might exist in a typical African American genealogy. Remember, they use Mrs. Obama, the former First Lady. And this whole thing is giving answers to questions that you're trying to play games with, bro. You don't even understand this. Look at this equation. You can't do that. Yeah, I get back in school, Lex. The study is crazy. That's why it's in the chat. The link to it is in the chat, man. Lex, you don't own 100 acres, bro. Who said you owned 100 acres? Who said that? Free people own acres. It's free people out there that earn their freedom and purchase a lot of land. So why would you assume that people, Lex, can't do that? You in that chair arguing like a mud with old dog. What are you talking about? Don't nobody come from Africa and try to Americanize anyone. Africans don't come over here and try to do any of that. We are of African ancestry. They don't need to come over here and try to Africanize anyone. Every black person of less than 50 million black people or 50 million black people in the Americas are descendants of Africa. All you Negroes under the label of black in America are descendants of Africa. Sean P, you're going in and out, broski. Okay, yeah, thanks for saying that. I just stopped sharing my screen. Well, hold up. I thought I did. Am I still going in and out? Look at Mika. Proud African. Proud. You see what she said. Forehead and all. Fat ass forehead and all. Proud. You see how big her forehead is? Look at that forehead. That's a fat ass head right there. Proud. Yeah, bruh. Yes. Out of the 50 mil, we are of African descent. Ain't nobody coming over here try to use none of that. The Europeans did that to the Native Americans, bruh. The term African diaspora was coined and introduced by a white man. Who gives a fuck? Who cares who cares? Who cares? There are Europeans in the diaspora. There are Chinese in the diaspora. There are Japanese in the diaspora. Or we can just say Asians in the diaspora. Indians in the diaspora. And I ain't talking about the motherfuckers mislabeled as Indians. I'm talking about from India. What are we talking about, bro? Who cares where a term comes from? That has no meaning. You can't name one word that came from a people that was already in the Americas. That boy said, what does an African look like, Lex? Oh, hold on. You want me to put your, I got a picture of you, right, Lex? No, I got a picture of you, right? Well, not really. I got the video with you on when you was on Not a Coincidence, when you had your camera on. You want me to show everybody? I mean, everybody know what you look like, bro. Everybody know what I look like. You don't look like no Indian. Nowhere close. Exactly. Oh, Lou, before I got distracted, I knew it was something that I was supposed to be saying. Before I got distracted. That's all the word means, dispersed. So yeah, a white man invented the word, and all it means is dispersed because they knew that they dispersed the hell out of Africans. Ah, yeah. Yo, that's all it means, man. I got distracted, and then old Luke came in and said, bro, just mean dispersed, bro. You're a dispersed African, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, look at him. DJ mad. And then look at the Pan-African. Ain't nobody came over here and said nothing about Pan-Africanism. Nobody, because you don't know what Pan-Africanism is. You can't even define Pan-Africanism. You're crying, bro. You're in the chat crying, bro. Lex wasn't one of the 1,300 free blacks, bro. I'm telling you right now. His people was enslaved, bro. He from Hermitage. He grew up on a plantation. He told you to look his family up. His family was on a plantation, the white man plantation in Hermitage. Look at him. I'm so tired of this obsession with Africa. We ain't even discussing Africa. It's a beautiful place. We teach about West African history all day long. But see, you discuss. You mad. We ain't mad, Lex. Hold on, I gotta approve Rock comment. Rock beating your ass up in the chat, Lex. You better leave old dog alone and get to dealing with Rock, cause Rock find your ass up in the chat. Real spillil. You know what I'm talking about? Rock tearing your ass up, bro. You better quit fucking with people, bro. Rock ain't playing with you. He want all the smoke. That DJ dude is upset though. He don't even know what he talking about. He just came in the chat just uttering shit. He talking about some shit ain't nobody talking about. He just making up his arguments as he go. That boy got a whole problem. That boy, they got a whole problem, man. You be alright, bro. Lex, you be alright, bro. Embrace your Africanness, bro. Come on back to the promised land, bro. Quit crying and come on back to the promised land, bro. Quit crying, bro. I see you in the chat. You crying your little ass off. Quit crying, bro. Come on to the promised land. It's all good. How you gonna be mad about some shit you is, though? And then you try to blame the white man. You gotta remember, you the one ignorant. You know what I'm saying? You the one don't know your history. The white man know your history. You don't know your history. That's the fucked up part too, bro. That you don't know your history. Ryan lost or indoctrinated by no means. You look lost in yeah. You look lost, Lex. I ain't gonna cap you down. You trying to say what that man is, man, knowing the whole time, bro, is you. You trying to say what Ra is not. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy work by you. Right, he hitting you with some real spill though. You can't not ignore what he's saying, Lex. You was giving your history about it. No, the white man didn't give me my history. My great grandmama gave me my history. When I used to sit in her lap when I was in Brentwood, and she talked about all the shit people endured. The white man didn't give me my history. She told me she told me who I was, who my people was, and what they did, and why their accomplishments was so good. So all this stuff you talking about right now, bro, you really ain't really saying nothing. You just yeah. You doing that. You yapping. Yeah, you yapping, bro. What the fuck? I feel sorry for your family. They gotta deal with you every day on that bullshit you be kicking. You know how the lady on Minister Society said, I feel sorry for your mother. I feel sorry for your mother. That's me telling Lex that I feel sorry for your family. You done confused the hell out of them people, bro. With your bullshit internet shit. How dare you? That boy DJ in the chat mad no motherfucker. Look, he mad. He madder than he mad. Lex is cool, but that dude and the other dude, he mad for real. He mean everything he's saying in the chat. No matter how stupid it sound, he just saying it. Yeah, Lex always say everybody else get their history from the white man the whole time. Lex get his history from Aboriginal power. Dane Calloway. Nigga running around here trying to make it sound smart when he listening to some goddamn goofies. Come on, bro. You tripping, bro. You know you can't do that. You can't do that, Lex. You can't be hitting us with no goofies. You can't hit us with that, bro. You tripping. He has decorum, but he's uneducated in real life. Yeah, nah, Lex, he does. Lex, but I can't talk to him because he ain't got no source. He's so used to TikTok. I ain't dealing with y'all TikTok niggas. I need a motherfucking source. We gotta put it on the screen and we gotta break it down. So Lex, if you did your ancestry, can you tell me that can you put in the chat if you did your ancestry and you on a computer and you can share your screen and walk us through your ancestry? If you can't do that, Lex, then I ain't dropping a link. I'm only dropping a link if you got documented evidence. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to waste your time or my time or other people's time dealing with some bullshit. Because it ain't fair to them and it ain't fair to me. It definitely ain't fair to me. Because you're going to waste 2 hours of our time. So if you got your sources, Lex, and you can share your screen, you're on a computer, then I will definitely drop the link and we can get to the work. But if you're not on a computer and you might be riding around doing whatever it is you could be doing, bro, I don't wanna put you or me in a position to where you can't hold up your end of the spill. You feel me? You know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to nobody, bro. For real. Because, you know, I know what type of time you could be on, bro. You can be on that, you know what type of time.
And then we both gonna be mad, and then we're gonna be cussing each other out for a little bit. And I ain't got time for that. I ain't trying to cuss you out. I want to deal with your information. Straight up. That's all. I'm looking. Let me see. For real, you know what I mean? 'Cause I know you know how to talk to people, bro. I know we ain't gonna argue or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, man, we gotta put it on the screen. We gotta have a conversation, right? We gotta have the right conversation. We can't just be saying this, that, and the third. We gotta have that real conversation, bro, with evidence. We gonna see who really getting that information from the white man. You know what I'm saying? We want to see who really getting it from the white man. Who got that real? Who got that fake? I know you're not mad. Come on, bro. I know you're not mad, but I know you also on the move though. You ain't still where you can share. You know what I mean? You can share the real spill. You ain't there, bro. You moving around. You ain't still. Cause I definitely want you to prove your ancestry. I want to agree with you. I want you to be an Indian. I don't even want you to be African, bro. I want you to be an Indian so bad. Cause you was a Hebrew and then your feelings got hurt and you wasn't a Hebrew no more. So I want you to be an Indian so bad, bro, because you wasn't a Hebrew. So I want you to be something. So we need to figure it out. We need to figure out how we can make you an Indian the right way. That's the thing. Lex ain't took no DNA test. It's unfortunate that Lex ain't took a DNA test. He's scared of DNA. Goddamn shame. Lex ain't took a DNA test. Motherfucker scary. Boy, that tripping, bro. Show you. Let's your mother boring. What you here for? Yeah, I'm boring because I tell the truth. The truth is boring. You boring. You ain't even got no information. You call yourself a milkman with no milk. You ain't got no guns, no butter, no nothing. You got a troll account coming over here where you switching your account. Ain't nothing but sorry ass JJ. Mad cause he can't comment in here. Told you. He tell on himself every time. Tell on himself every time. It's that easy. He say you say JJ, you say the same words every time. You try to call somebody boring like you're entertaining. It's JJ. You say the same thing. You try to call somebody boring and then you say something about Garfield, nigga. Why the fuck do your pussy ass keep bringing up a whole nother man? Like you obsessed, nigga. Like you know I don't fuck with you. You just keep showing up. You just keep showing up. And then if I let you comment, it's only a matter of time before I ain't gonna let you comment no more. And everybody know you a pussy. You is. You a pussy, nigga.
Everybody know what you is. You ain't gonna do shit. Switch your account again, nigga. Do that. You won't treat no man how you did that white girl. Bet you that. I bet you won't treat no man like you did that white girl, especially me. I bet you won't, sucker. Running around here just, you know what I mean? Come on, man. Try to call somebody boy. Nigga, what you here for? Shit. I ain't gonna show up nowhere where I ain't want it. Fuck out of here. Pussy ass nigga always talking. Yo, Lex, you gotta take a DNA test, bro. You don't know what you is. You just making up some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked up that you're doing it too. Do not explain what is an ethnic group and what ain't to that brother, bro. Y'all tripping right now. Y'all know he know the answer to that, bro. He know when he wrong. He just gonna keep on with the keep on. He definitely gonna keep on with the keep on. Who the fuck keep dying? Over 100 different tribes were involved in the slave trade. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's definitely a fact. Oh, they made these niggas stronger. That's what. It's crazy work right there. I'm already knowing. However, this is for entertainment purposes, like they think DNA tests is. An individual can't be 10 tribes, but can descend from 10 different ethnic groups. You think everyone comes from the same singular group? That's, yep. He killed you right there. Oh, Luke killed you. DJ, he killed you. You might as well pack your bags up and go home. Grab your basketball and head home, sucker. Grab your basketball and head home. You done playing for the day. DJ, grab your ball and go home. Don't comment no more in the chat. JJ, I know you still here because you can't help yourself. You want to be seen and you want to be heard. Those are the two things I know for sure that is part of your problem. You want to be seen and you want to be heard. And this ain't the place or space because I don't even deal with you like that, dog. So I don't even know what you came over here for. You talk all that shit about black people, then you done went from a Hebrew Israelite to now a West African. Nah, bro. Y'all ran Lex off. Lex said he tired of y'all. Y'all too African for him. He can't get no win in the chat. Lex said, y'all, he can't get a fair one in the chat. There's too many of us. If I'm going in and out, let me know, bro. I think it's you though, old dog. Ain't nobody else say or complain about me going in and out. Put a 1 in the chat if I'm going in and out. Put a 2 in the chat if you can hear me okay. Damn, fucked up. Put a 1 in there, bro. If you can hear me, if you can't hear me. Three. He said, I'll be back. So everybody else said I sound, yeah. All right. So we call AP line trying to make African American bank an FBA Aboriginal Indigenous bank. Then try to say that they owe money. Nah, bro, not happening. You know what I'm saying? So definitely I ain't letting them get away with that shit, right? Then we had Lex come in the chat, stir it up a little bit with his shit, you know, do it the Lex Vortex way. Then we had DJ come in the chat, and then we had both of Jeremiah pussy ass Judah pages in the chat. Appreciate it. What up, Zeke? I didn't even know you was in there, bro. Hits. What the business is. But man, listen. I've been on the road, just got back from out of town, you know what I'm saying? Your boy was in the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? In the land of Satep Ra. Y'all know who Satep Ra is. I was in the land of Satep Ra. Getting to it. Now I'm back. Been home for a little bit. Obviously, because of this show. But I appreciate everybody tapping in, man. If you're catching a replay, make sure that you get them sources that was in the chat prior. You know what I'm saying? Definitely want to make sure y'all get their work. And I probably need to put a presentation or something together. But like I said earlier, I just been waiting on Ancestry to finish up my DNA so then I can go in and fill out some other important information and add more people, my family members and stuff to my tree. And I need to start adding my granddaddies. I added my granddaddies, brothers and sisters, but I need to add their children, which my auntie, one of his, my great aunts, got some information already on Ancestry that is going to pull from. Once I put her name in there, and is going to add her to the tree. She's going to get the notification, and then all this extra shit going to pop up with all my other cousins and shit on the other side of my family. And then there's going to be a wrap. Then I'm going to just go north into my great-great-granddaddy's, trying to find some documents from North Carolina and Virginia. North Carolina and Virginia on my mama's side, and then some records. Once I get those records, then it's gonna take you to a couple of documents that I'm trying to substantiate that I'm cross-referencing, which should bring me up to a ship, 2 ships. And then I'm gonna bring it back to
on my grandmama's side and do that same walk. DJ, you got your ass beat up in the chat. You don't know shit about shit. Ain't nobody over here talking about no motherfucking Somalis, no Egyptians. We from Central and West Africa. You over there crying about you lying on your grandmama. Now see, I'm cordial with Lex. But you, DJ, I can cuss you the fuck out because I don't even give a fuck about who you are. I just know you a nigga in the chat lying on your grandmama. That I know for a fact. You run around here try to make yourself something that you aren't. You're pretending. You're a new age occult member. You just became one of these people who thought that they've been in America for all of that. You just became that, bro. You just became that. So why is you repeating the same thing you just said? You just became a motherfucker who think they're indigenous to America. You are highly ignorant with no evidence. You came in the chat wrong, started talking about Pan-African shit. You wasn't even reading the room. And that's part of y'all problem. Y'all never reading the room. Y'all just be running amok, saying whatever it is you want to say at that present time because you think that it makes sense. Stupid. That's what that is. Just full stupidity. And you don't know no better. So you're just going to keep on saying stupid shit. Crazy work. But listen, man, I appreciate everybody tapping in. It's your boy Sean P. in the place to be. Y'all have a good rest of y'all evening. Man, I'm about to go watch Alex Cross. Yeah, like that.
From Africa, but they will be able to tell you about Africa. They wouldn't be vaguely saying they from Africa, bro. Like when a European says I'm from Europe, he doesn't say I'm from Europe. He says I'm from Germany. I'm from a particular province. I still got people out there, right? You know, when people say hold on. When people say they from Asia, they tell you whereabouts from Asia they from. They tell you their province. They tell you they still got people out there. These people will confirm that they are indeed a part of their heritage. But you niggas was calling y'all African? Oh, mysteriously, you have no contact with the people you say you descend from. So I don't believe you. Bro.
Hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. The roots of a tree and not hate the tree.
You ain't no Indian, please try again. Everybody know you's an African. And Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root without hating the tree. Now take a look at you, you's a wannabe Cherokee. And I told you before, you need some therapy. And why you never show the genealogy? You owe your ancestors an apology. And you know they turning over inside of their graves just because you don't wanna come from a slave. So you gotta take this whipped in. I caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another. Let's go. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Yo, check this out, man. You wasn't already here, man. Dane Calloway lied to you, man. The research guy lied to you, man. Karimio lied to you, man. Your ancestors come from Africa, whether you like it or not. So no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will always be an African. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the evidence. You can't deny the genealogy. You can't deny the DNA. You can't deny it, man. Whether you like it or not, you are African. Call the abo slipping. That's all we do. That's all we do. Let's go.
Got some dewy-eyed thing that you got a friend. I still ask you to look at that mirror. And if nothing's staring back at you is friendly, then you've got no friend.